Hello my friends, this is Dwight from Forest Glory 700 coming back at you with another video. And in this video I will be doing a carbon dioxide meter test on a variety of face masks. Now for this video I've decided to actually create a script because it's a very important video to me and I don't want to sort of be going off of the cuff. So I decided I was going to create a script, and to the best of my ability I will attempt to stick with the script. So I ask that you bear with me. So here we go. Due to COVID-19, we're all being forced to wear a face mask, regardless if we think it's effective or not. So how safe is it to be wearing a face mask all day? Today I'll be measuring my own carbon dioxide levels while wearing a variety of face masks to hopefully answer that question. According to the Ontario Ministry of Labour, the current occupational exposure limit for carbon dioxide within an enclosed working environment is 5,000 parts per million. In other words, CO2 levels within an indoor setting of any sort should not exceed 5,000 parts per million. Levels above this value are considered dangerous. At this level of exposure to CO2, the body is in an oxygen deficient atmosphere, which increases one's respiration and heart rate, increases body temperature, sweating or perspiration, fatigue, nausea, headaches, dizziness, irritability, lack of concentration, eye irritation, sore or dry throat, and so on. I'll be using this carbon dioxide meter that I purchased recently on Amazon.ca. It's made by a Chinese company. The name of that company is AZ Instrument Corp, and the model number is 7755. Unfortunately, the air quality in this room is actually very poor. The number that you're looking at here right now, 1219 at the top, that is the current carbon dioxide level in this bedroom, parts per million. It should be really under 1,000. It should be like maybe somewhere between 8 and 900, but it's relatively high in here because I haven't had the window open for some time, so the air in here is quite stuffy. So that's the model that I'll be using, and the number at the lower left is the temperature in the room, which is about 19.8 degrees Celsius, and the humidity is roughly about 31.6. So I'll be measuring the CO2 levels of each mask that I will be wearing for a maximum of 75 seconds, unless the CO2 levels on the meter surpass the highest reading of 9,999 parts per million. I'll also will be setting the CO2 alarm threshold at 5,000 parts per million to indicate that the exposure limit has been exceeded. My current age, I ain't gonna get into that, is, put it this way, I'm over half a century old, so I think I'm holding up quite well. I'm 158 pounds as of today. My height is 5 feet 8 inches on a good day, and my resting heart rate is 72 beats per minute. I have no high blood pressure. I don't smoke. I don't drink alcohol on a regular basis. I have no pre-existing medical conditions to my knowledge. In other words, I consider myself to be in relatively good health for my age. The current measurements in this room, again, it's rising a little by little. It has to do with maybe me speaking as well, so I'm close to the device. It's at 1274 presently. What I will be doing with this sensor is once I place the mask on my face, you actually have to have this sensor in close proximity to what would be classified as the breathing zone. According to industrial hygienists, when they are measuring the level of carbon dioxide that a person would be breathing in a work environment, they actually placed the device right by the actual breathing zone, which would be basically around your nose, the mouth area. So I'll either be wearing the device like this, very close here if I can get there, or like this. So when you see me doing each test for each of the masks, you'll see me holding the device either in this direction or in that direction. Again, you'll notice that the sensor is going to be within the breathing zone itself. So let's begin. So the first mask that I'll be trying on is a 100% cotton face mask. It seems to have different layers to it. If you can see here, there seems to be one here. Your fingers can actually go right through it. And then an outer layer. I consider this to be of the 4 masks that I will be demonstrating for CO2 levels to actually be the thickest mask, but it's 100% cotton. So let's see what happens. Okay, the second mask that I'll be trying on is a 100% polyester mask. So let's see how this works out. Okay, the third mask that I'll be trying on is also a 100% cotton made mask. It's actually quite thin. Let's see here. Trying to show how thin it is so you can see how thin it is. Alright, so let's test this mask. Okay, the final mask that I'll be trying on is the one that's known as, I believe, the surgical mask. This mask is a bit worn. It's kind of tattered, but let's try it nonetheless. Okay, so I'm back. I want to do one more experiment with this carbon dioxide meter. And what I would like to do is I'm going to hold this sensor quite literally right underneath my nostrils, right here, to get the reading. I'm going to time it for, I'm going to say probably the same amount of time I did for the mask, which was 75 seconds. So I'm going to hold it directly underneath my nose, my nostrils, for 75 seconds. I don't want to see what it actually reads in relationship to when I was actually wearing the mask. Because when I was wearing the mask, I had the sensor right here and right here. That was the closest I had it to my nostrils. So I'm going to actually place it right underneath my nose and see what the reading is. So there's going to be no obstruction, just me breathing in a very relaxed, seated state. So let's begin this now. Let's see what happens. Okay, so that's approximately 75 seconds. I'm going to go for 2 minutes. You know what? I'm also going to place it by the other nostril just in case someone says, you know what, that nose is probably stuffed up and that's why it's not giving an accurate reading. Alright, so that's approximately about just over a minute. 2 minutes on my right nostril and 1 minute on my left nostril. So that was the reading with no obstruction. So sticking with my script, I'm still staying with this script so I can get through this whole thing. What I have on my script is that 75 seconds demonstration versus wearing it all day, which has a much worse impact on the overall health of your body, which is true. The demonstration that I have given was in 75 seconds increments. Now, we are required by the various health ministries that when we're in the workplace or we're on the public transit system or we're anywhere where we might be in close proximity to other people, that we are required to wear these masks for an extended period of time. So what's going to happen as we continue to wear these masks for an extended period of time is that it's going to continue to build up carbon dioxide levels underneath these masks. That's a given. That's a fact. The unfortunate thing with this carbon dioxide meter is that it only goes as far as 4 digits when it relates to the actual measurement of the carbon dioxide. It only goes to 9,999 parts per million. It's unfortunate. I don't know if they have it in 5 digits. I'm assuming they do. Maybe I should have invested in one with 5 digits just to see what the extreme level would be when you're wearing this over an extended period of time. So throughout the day, or by the end of the day, the amount of the toxic level that people are exposing themselves to with their own toxic waste that's coming through their nose and possibly their mouth, and then the buildup of whatever materials that might be on the inside of the mask itself, I cannot imagine what that could be. I've heard by certain health experts that because these masks get saturated with moisture, because you're breathing in it through your nose and through your mouth, as well as speaking or communicating to other people, you're going to have a buildup of moisture within the mask itself that's going to breed bacteria and other things that I don't want to mention. I don't even want to think about it. But that these masks, on average, should be changed every 15 minutes. So that means for each hour, every person should be replacing this mask 4 times in 60 minutes. But the reality is, most people are not. What they're doing is they're ending up wearing the same mask for the entire 8-hour day, or a 10-hour day, or 12-hour day, or however long they may wear it, but they definitely wear it beyond normal parameters that one should be wearing it for one's own health and safety. Again, you're exposing yourself, or you're placing yourself in an extreme oxygen deficient atmosphere. Again, based on the Ministry of Labor in Ontario, the maximum amount of carbon dioxide that one should be exposed to in an enclosed environment is nothing greater than 5,000 parts per million. So when you wear these masks, you're breathing in an extremely enclosed environment. It's covering your nose and your mouth, and you're breathing in your own waste. So that cannot be a good thing. And I believe the science demonstrates that wearing it for any length of time is a great detriment to one's health. While wearing these masks, people subject themselves to dangerous levels of CO2, well above exposure limits recommended by the Ministry of Labour and Health Canada. Again, when I use this device, I believe for every single one of these masks, I'll actually have to go back and watch it, but I'm almost certain for every single one of these devices, or masks I should say, the carbon dioxide detector went over 10,000 parts per million. That's more than twice the acceptable, or the limit that we should not be going over. We've gone over twice the limit with all these individual masks, which is insane. And I was watching on the news just the other day that they were saying that people should be wearing double mask or triple mask. That's absolutely insane. You're going to put yourselves in the hospital without a doubt. It's just clearly unsafe for anyone to be wearing these masks for any extended periods of time whatsoever. With my demonstration, it was done in a rested state. No physical and or mental activity whatsoever. You add those variables of physical activity and mental stress, and the CO2 levels will increase dramatically, which is true. I was just, for this experiment, for this video, I just remained seated. I was stationary. I was just breathing in and out. That's all I was doing. Now, add to that walking, doing anything physical that may be required of you while you're on the job or out on the street. Maybe any mental stress that's going to increase your carbon dioxide levels and decrease your oxygen level. So carbon dioxide levels go up and your oxygen levels go down. That's, again, a very dangerous environment and a very dangerous situation to place anyone in, especially for the very elderly and the very young. it's not a good situation at all. I see people out on the street that are extremely elderly and some not so elderly, as well as the young, and it's very taxing on their what is it called? Their cardiopulmonary system. It's very taxing on that system. It's difficult on your lungs. It's difficult with your heart. It places less oxygen flowing through your bloodstream. So none of that is actually good. It's absolutely horrible. And even when I was wearing these masks for the short duration that I was wearing them for, I was having difficulty breathing. That's God's honest truth. I was actually having difficulty breathing. And that was for a 75-second duration. So imagine wearing that for the entire day. You're spent. You're going to start exhibiting some of those symptoms that are related to oxygen deprivation, as well as the increase in carbon dioxide. And I wanted to note that with the symptoms for the face mask, it says increase in respiration, body temperature, sweating, fatigue, nausea, headaches, dizziness, irritability, a lack of concentration, sore eyes, or irritation with the eyes, a sore nose, dry nose. And then when I was looking at some of the symptoms for COVID-19 that what are listed, you have shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, increased body temperature, fatigue and weakness, headaches, vomiting, diarrhea, and feelings of unwellness. So take it as you will. There seems to be some interesting comparisons between placing yourself in an oxygen deficient atmosphere for an extended period of time and the symptoms that are related to COVID-19. I'm just saying. That's it. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm asking the question, does science support the efficacy of healthy people wearing face masks? Just a question. We've been 7 months to 1 year into wearing a face mask. Has it slowed down the spread of COVID-19 or simply increased it? So we've been doing this now for closing in on a year, where the public have been required to wear a face mask. And during that time, based on what's being told on the news and mainstream media, is that there's an increase in COVID cases, despite the fact that we've been wearing these face masks for closing in onto a year. We're talking like 7 months to 12 months. Some people were wearing it from the very beginning. So we've been at least 7 to 8 months into wearing this face mask, and apparently COVID-19 cases, and they're just going through the roof. So what's to give? Again, inquiring minds simply just asking questions. That's the end of this particular video. I needed to do it for personal reasons, but I think like any other videos that are out there, I think I've somewhat proven a point that wearing these PPEs, as they call them, are not necessarily in the best interest and health of the public as whole. Anyways, this is Dwight from For His Glory, wishing you all a great day. Take care and be blessed. Goodbye.